All right. What's up, guys? It's me again. I am here to talk about the Little Red Book of Marriage and Family 12 Principles for Relationship Thriving by Tony and Bree Woods. So, I'm very excited about this book. Pastor Tony Woods, it's a pastor of Mission Bible Church in Costa Mesa. Him and his wife actually have a podcast called Date Night with the Woods, and I think recently he started a podcast called Christianly Podcast. So a few years ago, this was years ago. I met Pastor Tony Wood at his church. Actually, they had a conference, and it was on the subject of prosperity gospel. And I remember going there and then listening to the Bible being preached and listening to Costa Hinn. Costa Hinn was there at that time, listening to his testimony, and man, it was so powerful. And I remember driving home, tearing up, thinking, man, the damage that the prosperity gospel is doing in my country. So this review is based only on 3 chapters of the 12. I was sent this book. Those 3 chapters or those three principles was sent to me in exchange for a honest review. So here it goes. I want to tell you that I'm already looking forward to the full book, which will probably be out in around Valentine's Week or Valentine's Day. This book is published by 316 Publishing. The authors Tony and Bree Wood say that it's crucial to establish that they are as regular, as unremarkable as any couple can be. So then we'll start with chapter 1 or principle 1. So the first chapter questions you and answers the how, the what, and the why of marriage. Really getting you to reflect on, building your relationship on a strong foundation. They stress that marriage is not just a contract, but it's also a divine, sacred commitment. I thought this was this is my favorite chapter, by the way. And then you have a couple named Jack and Samantha throughout the book. This couple, who is the main example of a young couple navigating the journey to marriage, they make the principles feel real and relatable. And when I tell you that it was relatable, it was relatable. And then it talks about the producer of marriage, which is God, and it also talks about the subject of humanist ideology, like follow your heart, chase your dreams, the whole Disney and humanist mantra. I thought this was really really cool. And there's these little boxes throughout the book. There, it says for the gals or for the guys, and I thought this was pretty cool actually. Because they're really, they're like little nuggets of information, from Bree to the ladies, and from Tony to the guys, and he shares like really good advice for the guys. This really gives both sides of the marriage dynamic, the importance of marriage vows and the true purpose of marriage. This is also discussed in a very deeply meaningful, God-centered way. So, for example, here, for the gals. All right. At the end of each chapter, readers will find personal evaluation points that encourage, they encourage you, and it also has like a red box resource that offers practical tools or further reading suggestions, providing valuable support for couples. Couples are looking to deepen their understanding and strengthen their relationship. And then we get to chapter 2. Chapter 2 is put your hubby in the driver's seat, or principle 2. This talks about really the role of men and women in marriage, specifically the role of men as the spiritual leader and what it truly means to be a spiritual leader, from a very biblical perspective that highlights the responsibility, the service, the sacrifice, rather than the dominion or the control. As a side note, I love that a Puritan made it into this book. William Gouge teaching had a great wisdom, and I have something that Pastor Tony said. He says the Puritans are a tremendous devotional read. Amen to that. There's also a little step-by-step tip for men, and I thought this was really funny because it says, since we guys like step-by-step instructions, here are 6 tips for you. I thought that was pretty funny. And there's also a little private conversation for men. And this is one of my favorite parts. Pastor Tony gives a real direct conversation to the guys. Bree even tells the ladies to skip this section because it's a private, men-only discussion. It's great. It's candid. and a moment of real admonition and real encouragement. So that was hands down a great section. And then we'll get to chapter 3. Don't let feminists run you off. This chapter is mostly for the ladies, but I promise you guys, this is worth reading. This was from Bree to the gals, but I will say that theologically speaking, the explanation of helper and desire in the Genesis account is a very, very, very good one. So I also feel like I should get someone else to review this section since this is for the gals. So let me ask for help. Hello, Nancy. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing great.
All right, so I need your help with chapter of this book, chapter 3. This one.
It's
Uh,
not.
well, I would love to get your opinion on that book, and I know you read it too. So tell us a little bit of what you think.
Well, first, they're not chapters.
Okay, what are
They
they?
are principles.
The
They're principles. And I really like principle. It says, don't let feminists run you off. So it was really good because I learned it gives a little bit of the background of a feminist, right? And then it gives us um information, and then it also I like how I love the language of the whole book. But chapter 3, it's I don't know I don't know if I can mention, but you mentioned that, oh, you I really want you to read chapter 3, and I was like, okay, I wonder what it is. What So I read principle 2, and I was like, no, I like principle 2. And then you wanted me to read principle 3. So principle 3 it's more about for me, and principle 2 it's more for like for you.
Yes, I didn't mention that. I didn't mention that so far. Yeah, you're right.
So what's funny about it is that you wanted me to read 3 because
Three,
it's like, oh, you should read this. This is for
and
you.
you wanted me to read two.
But I like more too because it's more for you. You know,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it's usually like that. It is. What?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, when you
Yeah.
read a book, you're thinking about
The other person never. It's never about us. It's about someone else. Right. Yeah.
oh,
Right.
she
Right.
needs to read this.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, he needs to read this. So
Uh,
I like it because on principle 3, it's she's the one talking. So and I like how she's explaining from her point of view. And what else? I mean, can you
Yeah, no, no. I want to know. I want to know. I know. We're doing this, no cuts, nothing. I want to know what. Okay, so the entirety of the book. So I've done the review. This is something I'm gonna put in the review. But I want to hear your general thoughts and like general thoughts of what you think of this book. And then also like what you thought. What's your general idea of what this book is like? All that stuff. Because I know you read all 3 principles.
yeah. So like overall, I really like how they explain the concept of every principle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good.
It was the language was really easy. It's more like you can learn through what they are explaining, but you can also see it's the language and the transparency of this book. Like you can they are like putting themselves, they are sharing their own, like how they grew up. So
Mm.
it's like, okay, and they grew up in a different way, right? So you can either be, you can, how do you say it? Like you can be, you
Relate. Can relate.
can relate to either one.
Hmm.
And that's what I liked. And then I like the little boxes on the side where she's like, hey. And then when it was her like writing, it was him like, hey, don't. So I really like that. And I love the like how they're telling you things you can do with your spouse.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
like
good.
that too, the tips, right? Like the how-tos. I think that was really good too also. I mean, there's a lot. I don't want to give a lot of it away, but there was a story in it that almost brought me to tears. And I don't know if you remember this when the guy the older gentleman is like, it's because he loves her. right? And
Oh,
that,
uh-huh.
that was so good.
Yeah,
But anyways, thank you so
yeah.
much for your thoughts. Anything else you'd like to say?
Um, no, I just it's a really good book. I'm excited. I would love to read the rest of it because it's I was even thinking this is really good for my daughter, like in the future.
Mhm.
I want her to have a book like this because this really explains the basic concept and it give the examples and everything. So
That's right.
it's a really good book to give to somebody that doesn't know a lot about marriage, and even if somebody that does, but then it's good to have it. It's really good.
Yeah, I think it's a blessing for just for those who are listening to Nancy and see me blush. This is my wife. This is my wife, Nancy, and our daughter, and all, you know. But I will say this: I think it doesn't matter how long you've been married for. I think it's going to apply to you,
Hmm.
whether you're seeking to get married or you've been married for a long time. There's a lot of little uh, good nuggets in there for you. So.
Yeah,
Thank you so
it's
much, wife of mine. I love you. I'll see you later. Mwah. All right. So, again, this review is based on only three chapters of the Little Red Book of Marriage and Family. So, it is 12 chapters or 12 principles, but I can't wait for the entire book to be released. I will say that there is a very, very bold promise in this book. In chapter 1, in page 12 of this, it says, pray together, seeking guidance from Christ's example to lead and nurture your relationship. It says, guarantee. If you make it to the last chapter of Little Red Book and commit to what's inside, the enemy will not be able to separate you. That's a very bold promise, but I'd say that it's only because Christ is in the middle of that relationship. There you go. Those are the first three chapters of the book of the Little Red Book of Marriage and Family. So, what do I think? I think it's a great and excellent book. It's very dynamic, where you hear Pastor Tony talk, and then his wife would comment, and vice versa, and then it draws you in because it's almost like they're giving you this advice and all. A lot of the stuff Pastor Tony has preached about, and it says that in the introduction. So it's really good. Very humble, very Christian, very loving perspective. There's even a section where it talks about spouse abuse, and it gives you a link if you're going through spouse abuse, and little nuggets like that that I thought were pretty good. Although this is only a review based on three chapters, I can't wait to read the entirety of the book. So there you go. Those are my thoughts. And before I go, why is this book called the Little Red Book? It's a simple question with a simple answer, but you'll have to read it to find out exactly why. So I hope you like this video. I'll see you guys later. God bless.